Okay, Hari Om all. So, uh, so we will continue today from where we left last week. The discussion here is on, like, as we were reciting and contemplating on the slokas, the question came upon, like, what are these different chapters and what do they signify, and uh, and is it all theory that what Krishna is giving us? Or is there a way to apply that theory in practice as well? Is he giving any tools to apply that as well? Like, as in any learning, there is always, first, there is a objective of what we are trying to learn. Harivam Satish ji.
Hariom.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so Satish ji, we are continuing from where we left last week. Um, so
Okay.
any learning starts with objective. What is that we are trying to learn about? And then it consists of two parts, right? Theory and then the practice. And we have seen from our science learning or even math, uh, one is the concept we learn, and when it remains as theory, it doesn't go deeper. And when we go to the lab, when we try to put the learning to practice, it goes a lot more deeper, and we are able to appreciate the learning, right? So that is what we are trying to understand here. As we were going through the slokas and contemplating on the sloka, at some point of time we left, we started thinking, like, what does this title signify, and what is that uh, Krishna is trying to cover in each chapter, and and along with that, like, is Gita complete in terms of, like, all the chapters? Has he covered all that needs to be known? Like, for example, in school we have these subjects, we go through language, math, physics, chemistry, science, history. It looks like we have to take multiple subjects to make it complete, right? So the same way, do these chapters in Gita, like, are they taking us through different aspects and leading to, like, complete uh, explanation or complete knowledge beyond which there exists nothing? Once, if someone has gone through the full Gita, does it complete everything to be known? Right. So that is the question. Right. That is related to this purpose of Gita, and obviously we know that all that every sloka is giving lot of theory, right? So the theory part is there, and what about the application, right? How is Krishna helping us to convert the theory to practice, right? That's what we want to learn from today. So we'll continue on that today. So last week, uh, we focused on the starting verse of every chapter and the ending verse of every chapter, right? What does that signify? Why is that verses, like, there for every chapter, right? Maybe we can recap that, Vijayji, and then, like, we can get into these answers to these questions.
Okay, so Shubhaji, you want to recap what we discussed in beginning shloka and ending shloka, that part?
Should I just recite it?
Recite, and also whatever a quick summary of what we reviewed. Your view of that, yeah.
Yeah, summary. So you can give it, sir. I'll just recite it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Atha Prathamodhyayah. Arjuna Vishada Yogaha. Salutations to the most auspicious divine in all. Henceforth, first chapter named Yoga of Arjuna's Sorrow. This was the first one. And the last one was Om Tat Satiti श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्ण अर्जुन संवादे अर्जुन विषाद योगो नाम प्रथमोऽध्यायः. Om Truth is. Thus ends the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita Upanishad entitled Yoga of Arjuna's Grief, which contains the Brahma Vidya Yoga Shastras in the form of a dialogue between Sri Krishna and Arjuna. Brahma Vidya, knowledge of oneness of Jiva, Jagat and Ishvara, which is the Advaita. Yoga Shastra, knowledge of techniques for erasing the duality of self and world. Upanishad, sitting down near a self-realized guru, culmination of all knowing and part of Vedas.
So, like how Sarananji mentioned, our intention in this Bhagavad Gita study circle and also the purpose of Bhagavad Gita itself is to help us realize and to use what we can refer as existential or universal truths. Bhagavad Gita is full of universal truths. Universal means what? Something that is applicable to you, me, everyone. Also, it is applicable all the time. That is the reason why Bhagavad Gita is relevant even today. Though it was supposedly constructed many thousands of years back, whatever the truth that it is revealing is relevant today. So, which means that two important aspects. It is time and space independent. Whatever the truths that Bhagavad Gita teaches is time and space independent. Or in other words, it can be used by anyone, anywhere, wherever, and at whatever time. So this is the fundamental aspect of Bhagavad Gita. And like how Sarananji opened up the discussion, is it only theory that Bhagavad Gita is giving us? In a way, yes. In a way, no. It again depends upon you and me. So we went into depth of this in the last session. So you can please refer to the video. Each one of us shared our perspectives. So fundamentally, any learning depends upon the learner. So any learning, it is for me to convert whatever I'm learning. At a first stage, it may be simply a knowledge, to convert that knowledge into some kind of a day-to-day application. That is the way I realize it. It becomes an experience. It is not enough to say that I know about a fruit called mango. I should have eaten it. Then only I have the taste of it. And then I'll be able to know mango much more intimately. It no more is then a matter of theoretical understanding. Like that, it is for me to apply and convert the pointers given by Bhagavad Gita into a application. So truth is what Bhagavad Gita is full of. And the techniques of the shloka and the various questions and answers that come up in Bhagavad Gita as a dialogue between Sri Krishna and Arjuna are there to help you and me also to discover that. And once when you and I discover, it is for you and me to use. So truth, realize, use. So that is where this first shloka and the last shloka are important pointers. The first shloka is essentially saying it is about a universal knowledge. And that is why it begins by offering the respects to universal being. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. The learner, that is me, only when I am able to keep whatever else I have learned. I may know so many things in life. I may even know all these shlokas. But right now, as I'm learning, I have to keep my own, whatever I have learned, aside so that I can imbibe the current learning. And I can then see whatever I know, is it complete, correct? And whatever I'm learning now, is it complete, correct? So in a way, I have to be open for learning at any point of time. And the openness for learning begins by, first of all, submitting. When I say, oh, I know, I'm here to tell you, then I cannot learn. But when I'm here to learn, then I have a certain aspect of submission. Something else is higher than me. And what is higher in this? It is the truth. It is the jnana that Sri Krishna is revealing through the Bhagavad Gita. Not any individual is higher here. It is the jnana that is the highest. So the respect is towards the divine who is actually revealing to you and me as jnana. So the divine has many aspects. The unseen are what we call as the God. You may have any name to it. Existence, God, Almighty, Paramatma, whatever may be your conception of it, it has infinite variations in which it appears. One of the way it appears is in the form of pure knowledge. And that pure knowledge is what Bhagavad Gita is. So, for the knowledge, and the Paramatma is appearing as that knowledge, I have to submit. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. And then, of course, every chapter begins by chapter number and the title of the chapter. And each chapter title has a significance, which we are going to explore today. And then ending chapter essentially prompts you and me to put it into a practice. How? Because what Bhagavad Gita is, it is a conversation between two people, Krishna and Arjuna. Krishna represents a realized being. Arjuna represents a wonderful student, a student who's ready for that knowledge. Arjuna is not any ordinary student. Arjuna is a ready for this knowledge kind of a student. So there's a lot of preparation that Arjuna has done, which has made him eligible for this conversation. So that is Arjuna. And this is happening as a dialogue. And as a dialogue happening, in a way, it is opening up all that, whatever the jnana is pointing to, it is being seen by Arjuna. It is revealed to Arjuna. It is a darshana to Arjuna because the Arjuna is ready. So therefore, it is becoming realization. The very words of Krishna is making Arjuna realize the truth. And that is how he is able to then make the right decision. So then he'll be able to apply it properly. So this is the ending shloka of every chapter is essentially then saying, here you have been given all the universal knowledge that is necessary, which helps you to realize the essential aspects of the whole. Now, how do you function with this? And that functioning is also revealed as Yoga Shastra. Universal knowledge is given as Brahma Vidya. So it is for then Arjuna to use that knowledge. So like that, every chapter begins with me as a student ready for that jnana, and every chapter ends with me, the student, being encouraged to take that jnana into life and apply. And every chapter has essentially various dimensions of the truth being revealed through each of the shloka. Each question that Arjuna asks is equally important. So like that, the Bhagavad Gita is. Any, before we jump into today's topic, any question or anything else to add? Shubhaji, Saravananji, Padmaji?
No, sir.
No, no, Ji. Actually, Krishna ji, Siya ji, Satish ji, if you have questions, let us know.
No.
All right. So, how do you want to begin, Saravananji? What is the way you want to begin today?
Yes. So the chapters, the chapter titles and how the progression is, um, like before, like we got into the Gita, and I feel like maybe knowing the direction at a very high level from how it's going, each what is the significance of each chapter, the way it is located in the order, right? Maybe that
Okay.
will be good to know.
Okay. So
It's like a map, right? From
correct. Yeah.
beginning to the end, start to the destination, how it is.
So then let's first understand the 18 chapters and what is the kind of the broad map.
Hmm.
Then I think we can get into chapter by chapter viewpoint exchange. Is
Hmm.
that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that is where this fundamental picture comes into in our discussion. So this is a representation of you and me. And the technical word that is used in Vedanta, which is essentially the discriminative knowledge of the existential truth, the Vedanta, is Jiva. Jiva means the one who thinks I am this body and mind. And what is the viewpoint of a Jiva? As a Jiva, how does one look at life at a very fundamental, essential level? So I look at something called as a world which is outside of me, and I've given different names to it. It may be world. One of the technical word is Jagat. Jayate gacchate iti jagatah. So that which comes and goes, because when I am in deep sleep, it doesn't seem to be there. But as soon as I wake up, it seems to be there. And I have a notion that I am in the world because I see the world. Why? Because the world is something outside of me. Outside of what? This boundary called this body. Right? So therefore, I have a perception that, oh, there is a world. And naturally, that leads to the next point, which is I see changes happen in the world. I see that I put a seed and something comes up as a plant. So somebody is doing something and something is happening. Or I see my mother making dosa from batter. So like that, I see things change and happen. So therefore, natural question will be, okay, how did this world happen? How did I happen? So there's a conception called someone, something, which is reason for all this. And there are different names by which different uh, spiritual traditions may refer to it. But in Vedanta, it is Ishvara. Ishvara is this omnipotent, omnipresent being who is responsible for this entirety. And the way the Jivi looks at life is Ishvara is the creator of the world, and I, world, and Ishvara are three separate things. I am separate from the world because I see the world. Also, I feel I am separate from Ishvara. This is the starting point of a Jivi. So there is a duality, I and the others. Duality means I and the others. I am this, and this is all others. And that is where there is also a movement. Oh, I feel separate from this because I sometimes I find joy from here. Sometimes I find misery from here. So whenever I find joy, I'm okay. If I go to Vidyarthi Bhavan and I'm eating at the masala dosa, I'm okay. I don't necessarily thank this Ishvara. But whenever there is a trouble in my life, hey Ishvara. Okay, so this fellow is called for troubleshooting. But whatever may be the reason, but there is a sense of disturbance by being here. And sometimes I even yell at this fellow, hey, you God, you are the reason for all my misery. So like that is the life of a Jivi. So a GV is one who is constantly either cursing the world or cursing Ishvara or enjoying masala dosa. And when masala dosa is being enjoyed, Ishvara is forgotten many a times. So this is the starting point. This is how Arjuna is also looking at life. This is how most of us, when we are in suffering in life, we look at life. But what Vedanta, what Bhagavad Gita says is, look, Arjuna, this is a false view of the world. This is an incorrect view of the world. This is not the right view of the world. Your suffering is because of your false understanding of this entire phenomena, of this entirety. You're suffering because of incorrect perception. Okay, so then the simplest answer that Vedanta also gives is, look, the correct understanding is that actually there is no separation. There is only that divine, which is referred in Vedanta as Brahman. Only divine is there. And that divine, in the divine, various changes called world and everything else is appearing. And you are that only. So the so-called Jiva and Jagat, the world and that individual, is actually nothing but a change appearing in Brahman. And all of this change, the material for this change and the cause of this change is Ishvara. And Ishvara is nothing but Brahman only as a universal being. Is the essential knowledge that Bhagavad Gita teaches, is what Vedanta teaches. Now, when this essential knowledge is grasped, and when this essential knowledge becomes a realization, then the job is done. Then the right decisions will naturally happen. However, what blocks Arjuna from realizing this essential knowledge is his own mental model of whatever he has constructed by his experiences of life. So therefore, Bhagavad Gita, to teach us that essential message that you are that only. That means what? That divine only. To teach that essential message, it takes us through 18 steps. A child becomes an adult after 18 years. Ayyappa Swami Darshana happens after climbing 18 steps. So like that, Bhagavad Gita takes us through 18 essential steps. A step-by-step realization towards the essential truth. In the very first major step, which is organized as the first 6 chapters, it's all about who you are, who I am truly. So, in other words, it can be called as Atma Darshana. Seeing my higher self. There are so many self-identities I have. But among all those identities, there's a higher identity. Seeing my higher identity. Atma Darshana. That's the essential focus of the first 6 chapters. Then the next 6 chapters, the essential focus is to give you and me what can be called as Brahma Darshana. To see the universal being or the universal self. Something that is all-encompassing. Ishvara Darshana, it can be. And the last 6 chapters are all about essentially resolving any kind of a difference between the so-called me and that or the divine. So in a way, the only ultimate reality is self is the truth. The only reality is self. To establish that in no uncertain manner as the only reality of life. And that is why it is also referred as Advaita Jnana. Advaita. Dvaita means where there is two. Advaita means no two. It simply means no two. There is no two. Much like a ornament is there made from gold, Every part of the ornament is gold only. So there is no ornament. There's only gold. Like that, Advaita, which is also going to resolve when this realization is true, it resolves the difference between me and the world. And one another way of looking at Advaita is, as a world, the world is my family. Because there is no more me and the others. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. This is one world, one family. It's like two ways of looking at it. When you look at the world doesn't seem to be as separate from me. Essential knowledge is Advaita. So this is the journey that Bhagavad Gita takes us through the 18 chapters. And now we can go into chapter by chapter understanding. Our title of the chapter, Contemplation. Hari Om. So before we jump there, any question or any other point anybody wants to add?
Vijay, the second slide requires more inputs. First was like it is.
This
We
one,
are always in this mode. Yeah.
certainly.
How the three became one.
how suddenly three became one?
And the first one, it is so easy and it is so common.
Yeah,
The second one, it is still
correct.
difficult to,
There is the answer given from the question answer. Now the steps.
Okay.
You have to solve the steps, right? One by
So the
one.
first slide is about the problem. Second slide is the solution.
Solution.
And the third
Yeah,
slide is the
yeah.
steps.
Yeah, third slide steps understood.
Yes.
Problem also understood, but the second slide
The
still.
final solution. Correct.
How
correct.
is the answer? How is this? The
Oh, okay. That is the okay. Following
Answer.
the steps, we get to the second.
That.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Finally, it says U is equal to that, and that is equal to
Ah,
U plus world.
yeah, absolutely. Got it. Okay.
That's why math is good, right? The answer has to be clear. There is once you get the answer, there cannot be a doubt. Is it right or not? We should be able
Okay.
to solve it by doing a reverse math.
Oh, yeah. So we'll come to second slide with these steps. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. But as we go through the titles of the chapters, the answer starts becoming clearer. And that's a as we go deeper, the whole focus is to resolve this difference.
Yeah.
In one fundamental sense, Bhagavad Gita is that agent. When we want to dissolve something, no, it's that agent that dissolves whatever that makes it say separate. Like for example, you have butter in water. Now butter seems to be separate from water, but now you start heating that utensil. It becomes kind of it now melts and becomes ghee, right? So no more butter. So it is that agent.
And on this slide, one question, Vishayji, where does Shakti Darshana fit in here?
Okay. So what is Shakti Darshana? Shakti
It
Darshana
was,
is essentially, yeah, go ahead, please. Yeah. What is your viewpoint?
the energy, how we identify and use it for our, the mind control or the entire body purification. So that's the breath, which is the sattva in us, and how well the energy points with the breath we can activate and energize and use it for our sadhana.
Excellent. Correct. Yeah. So the approach, that's why the ending shloka says, the ending shloka that we looked at, every chapter has the ending shloka. And the ending shloka says, Bhagavad Gita su Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre. It's a yoga shastra. Yoga shastra. Yoga means what? Union. So before union, there must be separation. So any yoga is a fundamentally a energy transformation. So in other words, Bhagavad Gita is also Shakti Darshana. How? Very simple. At the end of the day, whatever the, for example, right now, I ask you, just close your eyes and think of your most favorite sweet. If I simply ask you that, if you can please do it, close your eyes and then see as if your most favorite sweet is coming near your mouth and you're about to put it into your mouth. Just notice how your mouth is feeling. Okay. So what happened in your mouth?
All the senses got activated. Yeah.
Correct, no?
Salivating,
Salivated, right?
feel good. Yeah.
All that feeling came, right?
Yeah.
Now saliva is what? Is nothing but some kind of an energy. Now all these
digestive energy.
digestive energy and various other kinds of juices also got secreted in your body. So your body, oh, Satyajit, ready, right? Ready for whatever you want to consume. But the question is, what prompted that energy modification? What prompted that energy modification? Right now? Are you there, Satyajit?
Sorry, Vijay, I was disturbed. Can you give me the question again? Sorry.
Sure. So this energy transformation, what brought about this energy transformation?
The thought itself.
Thought itself. Where was the thought?
In the mind created it.
So in a way, we can say that it is the thought that causes a transformation called as action. And for action is where you need energy. Can we say that?
Yeah.
So what precedes energy transformation? The thought.
Thought. Yeah.
Thought is also kind of a form of energy, but it's a subtler form of energy. And a grosser form of that energy is what appear to you as saliva.
Yeah.
And an even more grosser form would be what would appear as your food. Essentially, it's like a shade of the energy, correct?
Yeah.
So, Bhagavad Gita is helping you to modify your thought process. Because where is the thought occurring? In your mind. And what controls the thought? Your intellect. And what the intellect operates on? Your knowledge. So, Viveka. So, when you apply right now the right Viveka in any given situation, as an example, you're on the road. Suddenly, you see the front person braking the car, and you are also traveling fast. What is the right way to stop so that I don't go and dash him? When you have that discrimination, when you have that knowledge, your intellect will very calmly and carefully apply that. Otherwise, it may get disturbed. Hey, silly fellow, why are you stopping so far? You go and bang, and then you start yelling at him. You stopped. You don't you have common sense. All that happens. Why? Because there is no knowledge of how to stop fast. So like that, it is the panic that brings about these changes, right?
Yeah.
So that is how it is Yoga Shastra. Because when the intellect which makes the decision has the right knowledge to operate on, it makes the right decision. And it is the right decision that makes the energy move in the right direction. Does this clarify your question?
Yeah, got it.
Yeah. Any other question or any other point?
Krishna ji, Siya ji.
No.
Okay. Then, Saranji, shall we go into chapter by chapter? Okay. So, everyone can share, right? And then, as usual, like how we do contemplation, right? So we don't have to worry about having to complete all the 18 chapter discussion today itself. We'll go as usual, and then based on time and we can revisit in the next session also. Yeah. Okay. So the focus of the first 6 chapters is seeing my higher self, and the very first chapter is Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Over to you, Sarvanji.
Um, yeah. So first, always the beginning is it starts with some knowledge, right? And the imperfect knowledge leads to getting lost, and getting lost is basically like suffering, right? As in the journey, as if one starts with a destination in mind, and if there is um, if the clarity is missing on the best way to reach there, or uh, um, the best mode to reach, one is going to suffer, right? So that way, if I see uh, that ignorance which causes suffering is naturally, here it's showing up as the first chapter, right? So here with respect to Gita, the the way it is Arjuna's ignorance um, on like the self and and the world, as he's in the war trying to fight, where all his friends and relatives are on the other side, teachers are on the other side, right? That leads to confusion of like, why am I here, why am I fighting, am I doing the right thing, um, and that causes the suffering, right? So that's the starting point, and that is what is explained in this chapter, in the first chapter, that basically any suffering means there is a lack of clear understanding, which to generalize from the title.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Krishna ji.
Yeah, so adding up on Sarananji's point, so it's the it's like when Arjuna was in as in the generic world also, like when uh, one gets or into a unfaceable or like not able to take a next step, and but wants to take in a complete dilemma, right? So and it is causing trouble to oneself, and but not able to take a decision, so that's causing depression, sorrow, in many lot more English words coming up. So then that's where when it's coming to a point where like what is all this and why are we doing why it is happening only to us, is it how this world is going to be. So so that's how Arjuna also was in. So he was in a state of can't move, but he wants to move, and he's not able to move. Kind of rigid state, stuck to the point where he cannot do anything. So that's where it's causing a lot of suffering and by for himself and as well as others. That's where like it started this chapter. I think the sorrow basically. Yeah. So I'm seeing this, and then the right question comes in after that, like what should I do? I'm not able to handle or take it. Can anybody help?
Hmm.
So then I think this all sufferings and tough situation, which is leading to one step positive or like whatever next step for the better. I feel so. That's how it's starting here. That's how I'm seeing this.
So there is one question, Krishna ji, which
Yeah.
others also, as you contemplate, you can share your view. Every chapter has a name called yoga. And how can vishada be yoga is the question.
Hmm.
Oh, okay, vishada. Yeah, I got your question. But,
Yeah,
why
so if you
could
want to
it
think
be?
about it, yeah, please
Yeah,
go.
I will take some time.
Sure, sure.
Thank you. Thanks.
Siaji, what is your perspective?
My perspective is, I guess, when you are getting into something, you should know, like, you should, how to say this, you should know about, like, what you're getting into, like, every aspect of it, so that later on, when you're doing that thing, it does not cause any, like, discomfort to you, or like you are like, why did I take this up, like, and then like all the, how to say, the, or everything starts, you start questioning yourself, like why did I do this, and then you start blaming others. So instead of doing that, I think before getting into something, you should, how, like, you should look at the pros and the cons. You should look at both the sides, and I guess that will cause less suffering.
Good. Yeah, it's kind of applicable to everyday work as well, right? Everyday work, what triggers from desire. Obviously, always any action comes from a desire to accomplish, right? And when if someone starts without complete knowledge, as you said, yeah, it leads a person to a state where like you start blaming others or having being forced to do something, right?
And Siaji, what is your viewpoint to the question? Why is vishada or how vishada is yoga or can be yoga?
I don't know the meaning of Vishada yoga.
Vishada means sorrow. Simple.
Okay.
Yoga means union. The word yoga means union. So two things are separate and they are becoming one is called yoga. That's the fundamental meaning of the word yoga. And the fundamental meaning of vishada means sorrow.
Oh, okay. I think I have like a view on the yoga.
Yoga.
Yeah, yoga. So every chapter ends with yoga, right?
Hmm.
Hmm.
In the Bhagavad Gita. So it's probably because this Mahabharata, all the whole family came together and they fought, right? So like both of them are on different sides, but at the same time they're kind of like, uniting, and like all of them are coming together, but like, how to say, the Pandavas are on the side of Dharma and they are on the other side. What is the who are the brothers of the Pandavas? I
Kauravas.
forgot the
The
name.
Kauravas
Uh,
with whom they were
yeah,
fighting. Yeah.
yeah, the Kauravas. So I think at the end of the day, they all are coming together, irrespective of whether they're fighting. They all just want to like take over the kingdom, right? So I guess that's
Huh, so they're fighting, but how is that a yoga?
they're uniting to fight.
Oh, so they're coming together. So they're
I,
And
maybe maybe I want to see if I can contribute something. Like coming together is bringing what?
coming together is, uh, I think
Everything
coming
is
to
adding up. All the sorrows, like different types of sorrows, are adding up.
I think coming together gave all of us, how to say, the Bhagavad Gita, right? Because Krishna was
There's Saro gave us Gita.
yeah, yeah.
Somebody's sorrow is our joy. Great. Wonderful.
Like,
Nice
mm.
perspective. But why is it Arjuna's sorrow? And how is it Arjuna's sorrow and yoga?
Oh, it's because in the first chapter he suddenly sees that, like, at the last minute he sees that, oh, he's gonna fight his gurus and his brothers, and, like, what is he doing? He's like rethinking everything. That's why I think Krishna, how to say, he gave him this at the start of the beginning of the war itself, so that later on during the war he wouldn't question, and he would stop fighting them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Nice, Yaji. Thank you.
Thank you.
Satishji, how do you see this first chapter name?
Yeah. So ignorance causes suffering. Like I want to take it like, for example, may not be a good one, but 10,000 steps if you walk per day, right? You are healthy, fit, and etc. We have heard it. But this is something which we heard recently. But earlier, if I mean, we didn't know. So that might be like ignorance, and if we had continued without, I mean, on the fitness front, and that would cause like your health issues. I'm looking in that angle. So that's like something like ignorance is not a escape. So we have to come out of ignorance, and even from success, right? Relatively, when we see someone successful or better quality of life, it is because they are out of several answers which I mean, they're out of ignorance, and that makes them more successful, and they have a better quality of life. So, and coming to Vishada Yoga, I think even yoga is like a phase in life, and that's where like he's bounded and confused, and he's seeing his own people against standing against him, and which is like in a confused state and putting him into sorrow.
Yeah, so it is putting him into sorrow, but how is it yoga?
It's a phase, like that's where it is. I mean, the phase is like is in a, yeah, jointly all those dimensions have put him into that phase. That's what I,
That's how you see it. Okay.
yeah.
Nice. Thank you, Satishji. Padmaji, how do you see this?
Yeah. So, first of all, I think wonderful discussion. I'm glad I came today.
We're glad that you are here today, Padmaji.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think from the beginning of starting the Bhagavad Gita classes, I have wondered about all these questions, and that is what, it's never boring. Although we are 3 to 4 years into it, it's always very interesting. Okay, so this chapter is Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Here, I think more than talking about Arjuna, I think we are the Arjuna here. All of us are Arjuna in that sense. There is a lot of vishada in our lives, especially if we have to, because see, how I connect is Arjuna is me and Krishna is also within me. That's how I see it. In every chapter, it is like that. So the yoga here is referring to the union of whom? Union of the Jivatma to the Paramatma. So every chapter, everything is a means to get to that Paramatma. If Arjuna didn't have the vishada, he will never seek the Paramatma. If he didn't feel helpless, he wouldn't surrender. If he wouldn't surrender, he wouldn't look for somebody who is higher than him to guide him, to give clarity to him. So every chapter, everything that Arjuna is going through is a means to that yoga, to that union of him with Krishna, of the Jivatma with the Paramatma. That is how I see yoga here. And I think that is why every chapter has got the word yoga in it. Whether it is Arjuna Vishada Yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnana Karma, Sannyasa Yoga, everything has yoga, because everything is a means to attain him. And once you attain him, that is Vedanta. So it is the end of all. So we can say it is the means and the end. Both are inclusive in that yoga. So the entire Bhagavad Gita is about how do you attain the end? In what way? There are various ways he has talked about how to attain that end. So here in Arjuna Vishada Yoga, I think all of us are going through that battle of Kurukshetra is happening every day within us. It is not about an external battle that happened sometime long ago. It is something that is happening every day within us. Each situation that makes us wonder whether I have done this properly, whether the actions that I have performed today, is it right or wrong? Was it dharmic or adharmic? Or in what way can I correct it? At the end of the day, say before we go to sleep, if we sit and contemplate, I think that will be the first shloka of chapter 1, which is Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yuyutsavaha. So it is every day, I think we have to question ourselves. What did I do today? Did it go in the right way? Was there something I could have done differently? That is the question, and that is the Kurukshetra war that is happening every day, I think, within us. And of all the things that arise within us, whether it is because of the sense organs that are always turned outside, and our interaction is also mostly with the outer world. So is our ego ruling our sense organs, or are we truly doing what is needed? I think that is the Kurukshetra battle that we all have every day. And if the question keeps arising, and if we have not performed it or we are guided by the ego and perform actions, then there is only Vishada for us. That is what is Arjuna Vishada Yoga, I feel. Yeah, thank you.
Excellent. Very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you, Padmaji. Shubhaji, and as everyone is contemplating, if anybody has any question to ask to whoever is sharing, please feel free to ask. Shubhaji?
Yes, sir. Yeah. So this chapter is basically our doubts in life and our purpose in life. So the main thing, ignorance causes suffering. What is suffering actually? When we look at suffering, pain is inevitable. For example, if somebody calls me a donkey or a monkey, we get so sensitive about it and say, oh, that person called me a donkey or monkey, whatever. So it's just a pain. If I have the knowledge, I can just say he's just calling my body a donkey. It doesn't matter. But when I am ignorant, I keep thinking about it. I keep thinking about it. That person called me a donkey, that person called me a monkey. And that is when the suffering comes into the picture. So here, when I have the knowledge that I am not the body or mind, but I am the Atma, that is the knowledge I get. So there is no suffering. So this is what Krishna is going to teach us in further in the coming chapters. And this chapter shows us how we go through our own sufferings in life. And our suffering is nothing but the greed, material desires. Those are all the sufferings which we go through in our life. And we have no time for the spiritual pursuits. So when we don't find time for all these things, that is when we are in ignorance. So in order to solve all these problems, we surrender to Krishna, which is there in our inner self, and we have to activate our inner self. This is what is the thing I understood from this chapter. Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Thank you,
Yeah.
Shubha.
Yeah.
Yes, Saranji.
Yeah, Vijay. Yeah. So while I was looking into this, researching on this yoga, one of the commentaries gave me a different view. One is like yoga to is to unite, and the way I saw it is like ignorance. What does it bring you? It in some way it unites you with suffering. So that is one way I saw it. And then the commentary gave me like two approaches to the word yoga. It said like yoga means both jnana and jnaya, like the knowledge it brings, and jnaya, what about what. Okay, so the word was used for both. And in another context, it said sadhana and sadhya. Okay, what through what, and like to result in what, right? In both, I could see that in each topic I tried to apply to see like how does it apply, right? So if you see like everything brings something, right? Every chapter and every word, it I could take it as knowledge, right? Or like it's taking me to something. So these are the two interesting commentaries I saw on. Till then, like, yeah, to me it was yoga was always about to unite, where the asanas, hands and legs coming together, right? So I just wanted to share that, and that's where the whole thing started for me. Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Excellent. Thank you, Saranji.
Okay.
See, in life, no, there's always change happening. And we are always in the process of cooking something. So we are not happy with chili, rice, wheat, masala as they are. We want to mix them up and do something, and then call it as palau, vada, whatever, right? Then only it seems to be of value to us. As they are, we think, okay, no, not nice. Various reasons, it's okay, perfectly okay, because rice has this, no, may not digest easily. So we need to do something. Then it causes something called as a pulao, and we enjoy pulao. So like that, we're constantly in life want to enjoy something. And to enjoy, we're constantly cooking something. So sometimes now cooking takes different forms and shapes, such as husband, wife, house, money, position, so on and so forth. But we're constantly cooking. So why? Because I want to enjoy. And what do I want out of that enjoyment? The word, the nice word, no? Enjoy. It's like joining. That joining is bringing me enjoyment. That rice, if it's there in the dabba, it's not nice. But the rice has to go inside of me. When it is enjoined, I will enjoy. Right. But rice as itself cannot go, so I make it pulao. And now I can consume. Now I'm enjoying. So I'm becoming part of it. So there's a natural movement. There's a natural movement. for you and me to become one with something that we feel separated, and
Outside.
then we feel, I derived joy. Mango on the shelf is not good. It has to be in the stomach. So like that, the money, it should be not in my employer's bank. It should be in my bank account, right? So the title, not to my neighbor, it should be in my nameplate, right? So that's the enjoyment we are all seeking.
And then
So
it should not go.
uh,
It should not leave.
so then of course, we are constantly wanting to preserve that. No, once when the title has come to me, I have to hold on to it, right? So that is naturally the next step that happens. So is there anything wrong in wanting to be joyful? Nothing wrong. To be joyful is your birthright. No constitution says that, but it is birthright. No, nobody can deny that. So, but how to be joyful? If I am constantly wanting that title, that money, that rice in the dabba, or whatever, can I be joyful? So initially, before coming to the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, that is what you and I think. Bhagavad Gita, why? It is for 70-year-old people. When they are in the deathbed, they will simply chant. Not for me. I am hatta katta, young fellow. I should be going out and enjoying life. So I enjoy life. So I go out with my friends and I eat and I drink and I feel, oh, nice, so nice. But tomorrow morning I have an upset stomach. Okay, it's okay. When I'm young, it's okay. But as the age progresses, suddenly I find that, that upset stomach no, will not go away in one day. It takes 3 days, 4 days. Earlier, I could eat and digest whatever. Now, even
Stone
if I
up.
eat something out of order, suddenly everything is shaken. So like that, slowly life starts taking a toll. I thought, okay, at least wife and husband would be nice. But there also, soon after 3 months of honeymoon, there is no honey, there is moon only. And that too is out there. And that fellow seems to be always, waxing and waning. Full moon, he rises all my anger, and no moon. Che, why did I marry? I want to divorce this fellow or felly, whatever you want to call it. Right? So all this becomes our turmoil of life. And that position also, no, it is nice as long as there is a position to my name. But suddenly my neighbor got a better car. Che, how did that happen? Yeah, I am still running around with that Doclassy, hatchback, and they already have got a SUV. Not good, not good. So like that, this wanting to enjoin with the things in the world causes some kind of a mental anguish, some kind of a turmoil. So initially, I deal with the turmoil by going through all kinds of advice from my friends. Some friend says, "Hey, this turmoil are very easy, nothing. You just take 1 or 2 puffs, you will be heaven." Okay, I take 1 or 2 puffs. I seem to be in heaven, but as soon as that puff goes away, no, I am once again back to my hell. So what to do? So that is not a permanent solution. So like that, I start one by one exploring solutions. Somebody says, no, no, you go to that fellow called, he's a very good psychologist. In English, no, there's also a word for him, shrink. I don't know what they shrink, but maybe when you go there, maybe you shrink, whatever. He's called a shrink. I don't know why they're called a shrink. So something must be shrinking there. So everybody goes there, and then that fellow, if that fellow is stable enough, it's okay. Otherwise, he is confused and he adds to my confusion more. So especially if you go through some of the psychological literature, no, there are so many complexes, Oedipus complex, so many complexes. So somebody may be worried because something that happened in their childhood with their father or mother is causing something like that. It causes a hell lot of other confusion. My misery was all about my position with my neighbor, but suddenly all these complexes also came. Oh, you have what the title? ADHD, attention deficit hyperactive disorder. My God, the name itself is so scary. Attention deficit hyperactive disorder. In India, we call them as very active kids. In childhood we call them as ಅಯ್ಯೋ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಗನ ತುಂಬಾ ಚೂಟಿರಿ, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಗಲಾಟಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇನೆ, ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೊಡೆದಾಕ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾನೆ. No problem. Our parents know what all we nutgut we did. We broke so many things, but nobody labeled as ADHD. Today, if you are little bit overactive, you are labeled ADHD.
So we look for special things. Very rare or
Your parenting skills are questioned.
So your parenting skills are questioned. So like that, one by one, suddenly, what did I want? Why did I create the children? To be joyful. But now they become source of my misery. They didn't, when the child was in the stomach, it was so nice. Now suddenly the child has ADHD, PDHD. He is not focusing on the studies. He is running behind video games, or she is running behind boys. All nonsense comes into our head, and suddenly
I want something, but the thing is bringing a lot of other things with it. Which
so because the package deal, no. It's a package deal. So you cannot get one and reject the others. So now suddenly you and I can understand what that fellow Arjuna must have felt. So it becomes such a misery. My God, such a miserable life. Let me end the life. But ending life also these days, no, even poison is corrupted. So sometimes you drink poison also, you may not die. You may have some problem because the poison is not good poison. So like that, something happens in life. So suddenly somebody comes and says, look, there is a solution. There seem to be some people who seem to be going to some place called ashram. They seem to be doing some nonsense, some study, something. It may help you. So like that, somehow a message comes that there is a different way of looking at life. So what happens with that? That's a separate thing. But this is the context. Why one comes into spiritual studies? Usually it is this vishada that brings us. Ayo Rama, life sakagutide. Devre kapadapa. If I truly, honestly make that prayer, Devre, I really need a solution. When that prayer is true, that is a beginning point. So, and vishada is not bad. Because like how wonderfully you all said, it is vishada that brought me to Krishna. So if there was no night, how can I enjoy day? Ilya. So life is all about learning in contrast. If husband is not there, how do I know life without husband? How joyful life was before husband and children. Correct, no. So now the husband animal has come. Now I know, che, buffalo is better than husband. so, so like that, I can enjoy life when husband comes, and now I can do puja to buffalo. During Ayudha puja, we have to do puja. No, buffalo is better than this husband. So like that, I realize. So for realization in life, I need experiences. And Arjuna's Vishada is born out of all these experiences. Because spiritual awakening is a transformative change, a transformation where within me. But what is the background in which the transformation can happen? That is why our spiritual tradition venerates a lotus flower. Usually where the lotus flowers are born, they're born in some kind of a muddy environment, mud, which generally looks not so nice. But out of that mud grows this wonderful and beautiful flower called lotus. So the material for the spiritual awakening, Vishada, is a equally valuable material. The culmination of all the things I've done to get what I call as joy is Vishada. Everything that I've done. to get joy from the world has caused this one outcome called vishada. And that ground, that what I call as mud, is the material in which this beautiful flower called awakening can happen. This liberation can happen, which in essence means that this sorrow has all the necessary minerals for this flower to grow and to bloom. Only thing is, I have to learn to see, which if I am earnest enough, Sri Krishna guides me in the subsequent 17 chapters. But he first wants me to be ready for it. So like that, no situation of our life is a bad situation. All the situations of the life have brought me here. It may begin as worse situation right now. Why? I've still not yet seen the wisdom of Krishna. That's why Arjuna is crying here. So the reason for his crying is he has not realized something that Krishna has realized. That is the only fundamental difference. Only one difference. There is some clarity in Krishna, and that clarity is missing in Arjuna. That's all the differences. Otherwise, both are in the same place called world. Both have the same instrument called body and mind. Both are going through the situation of life in a similar way. So, circumstantially, nothing is different between the two. So then what is the difference? There must be some fundamental understanding, a way of looking at life between these two. A Arjuna's way of looking at life, a Krishna's way of looking at life. And it is Arjuna's way of looking at life which causes sorrow. And what liberates me from that sorrow is when I realize and start looking at life through Krishna's lens. And that is the context for our Bhagavad Gita study. Chapter 1. Hari Om. Any further points to this? Anybody wants to add anything? Ask. Okay, wonderful. So if there is nothing further to be added or asked.
Vijay ji,
Yes,
I have a
yes.
question.
Yes.
Krishna also has so many wives, right? I mean, like girlfriends. Isn't there also like seeking? Isn't he also like, how to say, seeking material? I don't know, like
Sure.
being.
So the idea of a wife, you have to understand very clearly. See, when we look at our stories, right, especially our Purana and many other stories, as an example, our gods, many of the gods are shown with multiple wives, or in many cases, our gods are bloodthirsty. Durga Ma is killing this Mahishasura and holding his head. So like that, killing is shown. So this is at a very outside view, right? What you and I can call as a physical perspective. When I look at it, those images, it looks like, my God, he's also seeking so many wives. Or look at Durga Ma, she's like a killer. All that can be the perspective. So therefore, to understand this, we need to understand the reason why these stories exist. These stories are like our medicine capsules. What is the purpose of a medicine capsule, Siyaji?
To help us get better.
Does the medicine capsule itself makes you feel better?
No, like, I don't know.
So for example,
Sugar coating, right?
huh?
The sugar coating.
Little children, no, if you give them medicine as is, usually any medicine as is usually bitter and not very tasty. No.
Huh.
So how do you make a child then consume such a medicine?
Uh, I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess my mom would bribe me. I guess she's just like, I'll give you a chocolate later on.
so some moms are like that. Some moms, what they do, they take something tasty. Inside that, they will embed this medicine. They mix it. So, for example, during Yugadi, what do you eat during the Yugadi festival?
Sweet.
Bevu Bella.
Bevu Bella, right? So, usually, Siaji, it is the neem and then some jaggery. That is what you eat together, right?
Huh.
So, most often, people, take a little, as if like a little pinch of that bitter thing and put a lot of jaggery and eat. Why?
So that they don't taste the bitterness.
Right. So, as simple as that. So, medicine usually is bitter. So for example, let's say I go and bang a car, and then the person comes to me and yells at me, "Idiot fellow, did you not see that I was parking and there is a red light?" If he yells at me like that, what happens to me? If somebody yells at you like that, generally, what is the feeling you get? Idiot, you are calling me idiot, you must be maha idiot. Like that, some fighting starts. No. Are you with me, Siaji?
Yeah, I mean, I don't fight. I'll just be like, okay.
Good, good, excellent. So,
Nice.
generally, that is how people react, is it not? There is,
Yeah.
there is such direct messages, no? Because I must have been an idiot, not seeing that red light and going and banging this car. So I was an idiot. Why? I was not paying attention. That is what he said. He said the truth. But in that heat of the moment, I cannot accept it. So therefore, usually there is some kind of like a medicine, how a mother gives a medicine, she sugarcoats it. She puts it into something else so that the child can eat it. Or like in the capsules, the medicine inside, it is bitter. If you open the capsule, any medicine capsule, the medicine inside is usually bitter, not very tasty. Some of the medicines can be sugary, but some of the medicines are bitter. But because if it's capsulated, the capsule you can easily consume. You don't feel bitterness. But when it goes inside, it opens up and the medicine does the work, right? So, like that, our stories are these capsules. At a surface level, you see it's a story, nice imagination, nice fighting, superheroes, and all that. There's a capsule. But inside the capsule, at the heart of it, it's actually a puzzle which opens up a higher dimension of the truth. A higher dimension of the truth. As a simple example, we interpret husband and wife in a very literal sense. In a very literal sense. So, for example, Meera says, "Oh, Krishna is my husband. I have married Krishna." Oh, we think in terms of a physical marriage. But what is the marriage that is referred by Meera's marriage? The only marriage is the wife or the female aspect in you and me is the energy aspect. The energy aspect is the female aspect because it is moving. The female in the world, in the world is a very movement oriented, a very easy flowing. So what is easy flowing? Energy. The consciousness aspect in you is the husband or the Shiva aspect. So that is the true marriage that can happen. And Meera, when she says, I am the wife of Krishna, Krishna is my husband. So she has recognized the consciousness in her and she has become one with that. That is the spiritual meaning of the marriage. It is the marriage of the energy with the consciousness principle. So therefore, you will notice that so many gopikas want to marry. It is said that, apparently Krishna had 16,000 wives. Just think about it practically. Is it even possible? 16,000 days. If somebody has to spend even one day, is it even possible? So, like that, there are many ways in which truth is delivered to you. See, now, thankfully, this story is stuck in your mind and you have brought it out here. So, today we are having a discussion. So, we are able to open it up and see what may be the truth in it. So, like that, our stories have delivered the medicine, and one day or the other, those stories explode inside us. They open up. It is a deep science in how to deliver the truth. Does this bring clarity, Siaji?
Vijay, I want to add.
Yes, please.
Yeah, so I read that on this topic, right? There is a Narada um, version where Narada wants to see. So, as you said, Krishna had 16,000 wives and he wanted to see. So, he went and he visited one palace and he saw Krishna with the wife there. And then he went to the next palace and then he sees Krishna doing like in the palace with all the ministers. He went to the other palace. So at every palace he keeps going and he sees Krishna everywhere. So he said that like it is said that it is not that Krishna is like one person with in one palace. He is there at the same time everywhere. And the way I see is like when there is a true seeker, it's like Krishna is there with every true seeker. Okay, it is like how sincere is your you are looking for to have Krishna with you, right? And he will be there with you. That's the kind of message I got when I read that. Right.
Wonderful. So, Siaji, is this bringing clarity to your question?
Yeah, so basically, we should look at the message that it's delivering, right?
Excellent. Correct. Correct.
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
all
okay.
our stories, no, at a physical level, it many a times appears impossible. At a physical level, it appears impossible. And if you take it literally, that is, physically, if you take it, it causes a whole lot of uh, most of the if you look at the social media confusion, the
Yeah.
description is all about these confusions only.
Interpretation.
Ah, at a physical level interpretation.
Interpretation is at the level of the interpreter, right? Based on the knowledge, based on their own vasanas, each one interprets
Correct.
the writings, the words, or the language.
There's a wonderful story that Sadhguru always says. Somebody went to a buffalo and asked, "Do you know God?" "Yeah, yeah, I know." "Can you describe God?" "Yeah." "Do you see me?" "Yeah." God is just like me, but about another 2 feet taller, and I have two horns. God has four horns. My tail, it's almost half a feet. God's tail is at least 2 feet. And when God, does this bus bus, no, usually bulls are known for, buffaloes are known for this bus bus, no, everybody trembles. So like that, that buffalo described God. Okay. Now, is there anything wrong with the description of the God? Because that is what the buffalo believes in. So it is like each one of us interpret based on who I think I am, what my own understanding of life is. If I'm a buffalo, God to me must be a buffalo. That's why all our concepts of God, especially
Human.
as human form.
Human form.
But the Sanatana masters knew this. That's why they broke free from that. There is Varaha Avatara, there is all Narasimha Avatara, there is various avatars. Krishnaji, you wanted to say something? You unmuted.
Yeah. So I got, but I couldn't connect that Vishada Yoga. Like, are we
At the end of the
saying? Yeah,
day,
yeah,
there is no rejection of anything in life. Vishada is happening because of culmination of all your desires. Correct?
yeah. Mm.
All of it together is constituted in something called as Vishada. Now,
Oh, yeah.
in order for you to evolve, for that blooming to happen, you cannot reject Vishada. You cannot say, oh, I will get separated. Many people say, no, I will die and I will be free. No, you cannot die and become free. So you have to learn to
Mm.
transcend Vishada. You have to learn to
Oh,
realize that you are above Vishada. So, in a
mm.
way, the first chapter is learning to accept life as is. First thing. This is my situation of life.
Mm.
How many fingers I have, how many legs I have, how much money I have in the bank, what kind of other troubles I have in life. Everything has to be accepted first.
Mm.
Then only it can be
Yeah.
transcended.
Okay. Thanks, Vinci.
Yeah.
But are we feeling the question of why me also in this 18 chapters?
Of course, because
Okay,
because Arjuna's sorrow is one is I'm crying. Second one is why me? I am
okay, that is
such a
that.
good
Okay. Yeah.
I'm such a good fellow. Why me, God?
Only happens to
Trouble always comes. He seems to come to only good people. Bad
yeah.
people seem to enjoy life.
And there is this God
Yeah,
tests the good people more.
And why me is the first question before anything else.
and
No,
that
and then
question.
God will test good people more through more test.
Yeah, that question comes because others who are bad than me, I can see they are piling up, and they are nothing is happening to them.
Grass is greener on the other side.
Yeah,
Uh, Wonderful. Sarvanji.
And also,
Yeah.
yeah, Ji, please,
No,
please.
no, no, no. You please complete, Krishnaji.
Yeah, adding to that, like, and also war in the mind is too much actually. It's like a lot of discrimination.
Mahabharata. Kurukshetra
Ah,
war is going on.
earlier, like it was one or two something. Like it's now like why me something that comes and okay, let me see what it's taking me to. So that's how. Just want to
And
add
every
that.
day
and
one new character joins the war.
Yeah.
and other aspect to all these confusions is it is myself. I am the cause of action. That part also comes into the. I mean, anything is happening due to that Almighty will. But again, when it comes back to saying I am that, so all this actually crisscrosses in the mind. We are saying I am that, and it is on the other side we are saying I am the cause for action. On the other side, we are also saying I am the Almighty, again, and when we look back we are also saying I am that. So all this, how do they culminate? And it goes back to the first slide again,
Yeah.
putting us back, saying that the first slide was correct.
It
Yeah.
doesn't look like possible, right? If I am that,
Yeah.
like, how can it be like this? That this and
Yeah.
that are two different extremes.
What an excellent movie, no, Satishji? See, we
Ah.
Lord of the Rings, 3 parts, Bahubali,
Yeah. Yeah.
two
Yeah.
parts. But this Mahabharata, my God, it is impossible puzzle. It seems like how can it be? How can God suffer in life? No way.
So, Satish ji, I don't know when you started your spiritual journey, but we have been now, I think, around 5 years. So, we go back and forth in that first 3 slides again and again. We even
Okay.
go back and come back on Saturday one time and Sunday again one time.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Looks
So
like we
yeah.
got some help to win one war and to come and see the next day war is even more tougher.
Yeah. No, sometimes I feel like getting into this mode is taking and making my life difficult
Dangerous.
because, yeah, the tasks are becoming formidable. But again, I don't know why did I come into this, comes back, and okay, probably it was known that these are lined up to me, and this is where it is positioning me to handle these things well. That thought
It,
also comes.
it is like, initially when I would cry, my mother would come and cajole me. Okay, the child is crying, and as I got a brother, no, she would say, "Hey, is this how you are going to be to your brother? You should be a role model. Stop crying." So now I have an additional problem. I have to be like a brother, elder brother who is also a role model. And if I am feeling sorrow, I cannot even cry. So this. Trishanku Swarga is the spiritual seeker Swarga. Earlier, I had a problem, I had a problem. I could at least go and vent it out. Now I'm supposedly this spiritual seeker, and all of this is saying, you are that only, you are
I am
God
that. How
only.
can I cry?
How can I cry? Yo, Rama, now, should I cry or not to cry?
He only created it. So, how can I cry?
To cry or not to cry? Like Shakespeare says, no, to be or not to be. That's the quandary. To cry or not to cry? So wonderful, excellent. So that's why 18 chapters are 18 chapters are there.
And about revolving and falling back into those 3 slides, I read somewhere, I don't know, maybe Guruji's message on like Sadhaka and Siddha. The
Mhm.
Sadhaka keeps rotating in these 3 slides, and Siddha is a person who stays same across those 3 slides.
Correct. And all that Krishna is teaching you is look, you have the choice to be a Siddha, but you have chosen to be a Sadhaka.
Yeah.
That's the fundamental teaching of Krishna.
Yeah, I didn't get what did you say, Satish? Siddha?
Siddha is one who is realized and is stable. Sadhaka is one who is revolving through the revolving door.
Okay. Yes.
Also, I feel all this churning is also a test to see if our train derails or we are still on track only. There is a possibility of derailing, right? We would
Yes.
Yeah,
not.
that
Ah,
yeah, that test is becoming like IAS, IFS, IPS.
yeah. So
Day by day.
you want to drop out, but it doesn't let you. So you are on the right path.
Yeah.
So
No, we are used to this. If I do something, there has to be a good return. Then only it motivates the person to stay in that path, right? And here it's like it's showing the carrot, but then like, hey, when will I reach there? No, come. Will it come in one day or no? It just keep coming.
Sarvananji, you are saying the carrot, no? But again, there is a face saying that you are that.
That's why
so
he's
mega
saying like you already have the carrot, but
mega
you can
mega carrot in life is called enlightenment. So very nice, very nice. Sarananji, only one chapter. We completed our time.
as I said,
18 days, sir. 18 sessions, I feel.
18 days or it can be 18 weeks.
So, Mahabharata, very nice.
Mm.
Shall we conclude here?
Okay, good. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
thank you. Good
Thank you.
discussion.
Hari Om.
Very